Welcome back, and it's time to learn more about the latest news of the initiative Green Planet Earth campaign, which is led by Egypt's and Janus holder. Actually, Mr. Ahmed Gabr, he's holder of 3 Janus records, including, in addition to the deepest scuba dive, deepest sea dive. Also, last year he also got the world record for the most participants in an underwater cleanup at Hurghada. And I'd like to say to him, good morning, good morning.
Good morning and Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem.
So, Green Planet Earth campaign, we talked about it before, but
Yes.
definitely now we have something new. Tell us more about this important project and more about the people who are, or the volunteers with you.
Well, so far right now, I started to deploy. I mean, before we were lacking fund. Fortunately, I had some friends. I mean, who just came from China. You know, who are actually ready now to finance this project. To specify this person, I need to recognize him. It's my friend Yusuf Al-Gallad. He just offered, you know, to have an academy. So I offered him the idea, you know, so he got very enthusiastic about it, you know. So I think right now with the Ministry of Tourism as well, you know, we're taking serious steps toward this project. We have as well, you know, a lot of big appetite from a lot of volunteers around, you know, all over the world, not only in Egypt. And I just came back from Jordan, for example, you know, I had some volunteers in there, you know, so I think we are going to have, after Egypt, our next project going to be in Aqaba.
Now, what's next now? What's the next step? What will you be doing?
Well, my next step, I mean, right now, I started to deploy these kind of seminars all over the world. You know, this is step 1. I mean, get volunteers. This is step 2. Step 3, execute the actual cleanup. You know, whether it's gonna be on the beach cleanup or underwater cleanup. This is the 3rd step. 4th step is to get all the waste. I mean, weigh the waste exactly, how many tons of the waste, you know. I mean, and then start follow up with the recycle of this waste. That's number 4. I mean, I mean, to have this kind of culture, you know, in Egypt, you know, if you check other countries like Norway, Sweden, you know, they buy actually rubbish, you know, and then recycle them, you know, in their country. I mean, I think we need to build up something in here. I mean,
And you found already someone or an organization who's going to work with this recycle. I mean, we want to understand exactly what are you doing, even for those who are watching for the first time or didn't hear about the project.
Well, so far, I don't want to cross the bridge till I reach it, you know. So, I mean, step 1 first, I mean, I need to get my volunteers completely in place. I mean, get the proper fund, you know, have a proper plan. You know, so far I have
But you started.
I started, of course. I mean, I started since I established my last record in 2015 with the presence of the ex-minister, Mr. Khalid Rami. You know, he was one of the volunteers actually in the last Guinness World Record title, you know, the most participant underwater cleanup. That was my idea in there, you know, it wasn't the exact record or to have this record, as it was a message, you know, all over the world. And then it was important for me, you know, my entity is Egyptian, of course, you know, this message to be coming out to the world, you know, from Egypt. Yes.
Now, how bad is the condition of, especially under the water, the sea?
Yeah.
To what extent is it polluted, or to what extent you must have scouted it to be able to see what you're going to do?
Well, it's very hard to say pollution. Pollution is very especially with salt water, you know, unless there is an oil leak, you know, from any of the thing. I think that this kind of thing gets easily under control, you know, it happened before and then it will happen again. I don't know. I mean, but if you just check, you know, any place that has kind of diverse traffic all over the world, of course you're gonna find waste. Not only in Egypt, you know, gonna be all over the world as well. Yeah.
How important it is when we talk about the awareness of the people in this respect. I mean, when you ask for volunteers, definitely they have to understand how important it is when they share or participate in such a project.
Well, the thing as well in here, you know, it's not just to get volunteers to execute the actual cleanup. I mean, when you just start talking about this kind of projects, I mean, the volunteer, wait a second.
What do you tell them?
First of all, I mean, like you give him an idea. I mean, like these kind of marine animals, you know, like it's threatened to be obsolete. You know, like turtles, for example. Turtles, in first, I mean, like they feed by jellyfish. You know, plastic. I mean, like it takes very long time. I mean, like to disappear. I mean, like so they be in the water. They think it's jellyfish. They eat they eat the plastic, so they suffocate. You know, so and that lead to death. I mean, like of course they're gonna obsolete very soon. This kind of things. 1 centimeter of corals, you know, like it takes like decades to grow. It's the same as well. I mean, like if you put plastic or any kind of rubbish, you know, they need to breathe as well. I mean, like it's like any other plant, you know.
Now, for the equipment, would it be simple nets and bags, or do you need some other sophisticated?
Well, I need like simple scuba gear. I mean, like self underwater apparatus gear. You know, like the normal ones. You know, like the normal diving gear. Plus, I need like bags. You know, like to put waste on them. You know, like plus I need gloves for divers. You know, like so they don't hurt themselves. You know. With my last record of the most participant in underwater cleanup, I mean, like I was targeting 400 divers. I mean, like to break the record of Abu Dhabi, which is 300 divers. You know, like people showed up that day, 985 divers. You know, of course, it was a total mess. You know, like this is the thing. You know, like it was like over. I mean, like the number was beyond limit, beyond the logistics we planned for this record. So I think next time, I think we're going to limit the place, and then we're going to expand the venues. I mean, like it was single venue. This is the record. Next time, it's gonna be multiple venue. It's not gonna be a record anymore, you know. But it's gonna be like an actual cleanup is happening in Egypt and outside Egypt as well.
Do you need to train the team working with you, or any diver or anyone can just do it easily?
That can be offered, of course. I mean, like, but this is not my main goal in here. You know, like my main goal. I mean, like it will be offered if some of them. I mean, like if they are medically fit, you know, like mentally fit, and then they want to be part of the underwater team. This is fine. If they don't want to be part of that, you know, so they can just keep going, you know, with the beach cleanup, you know, like. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to divert a little bit from the beach cleanup or the underwater cleanup, and we return back to it because actually you were nominated for the Eurotech this
Yes,
year,
that's
and
right.
I'd like you to tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Eurotech Diver. You did your homework.
And tell us about
Right.
the importance of it as well,
Yeah.
because that's an important event.
Yeah, it's a very important actually event. It's happening. I'm the first Arab to be in Eurotech Divers. This is in Birmingham in October. It's the biggest technical diver gathering all over the world. You know, like I've been invited because of my main dive, like the deep dive actually. You know, so. A lot of question mark about my dive. I mean, like the people who broke the world record. I mean, like or who went deeper than 300 meters were only 3 in the world. I mean, like the British one, John Bennett, you know, in 2001, and then Nuno Gomes, like 2005, South African from Portuguese origin, and then me in 2014, I did 332.35 meters, and this is the deepest dive. So a lot of people in this community, you know, like they are very interested, you know, like to know what happened, the gases I consumed, the kind of equipment, you know. Of course, like some of these dive details will be revealed during this conference. You know, I'm preparing actually for my presentation in there. Normally, it's 40-minute presentation for all the speaker in there. They gave me 2.5 hours to speak about my dive. You know, so
I think
I think sorry to interrupt you. I mean, like
sure.
I think this is one of the biggest step, like to start to expand and market Egypt, you know, like as a destination, as a diving destination as well. So I think it will be very useful for tourism, you know, in Egypt.
This was going to be my question, actually,
Yes.
marketing Egypt, and how
Yes.
can we take benefit of this? Because nowadays we need to talk about some new tools, new trends in marketing campaigns. Stop just talking about locations and sites. This is not
No.
what will bring tourism back.
Yeah.
And also, just as you mentioned, for example, cleaning the beach, and this is another important part that even tourists, when they are around and they can see something like this on the beach, they feel very sad, actually.
True.
So how can we use all this in promoting Egypt?
Well, this is it's a very good question, actually. You know, like I think to promote Egypt in that, let's be realistic a little bit. I mean, like the tourist who goes and then goes and buy from a bazaar, you know, or go to the pyramid, he's not this kind of tourism that actually can promote, you know, the economical part, you know, in that, you know, like the divers in general, or the diver tourist, you know, like he got money actually, you know, so I think he's the best one. I mean, like that we need to focus on that, you know, like other sport as well, you know, like golfing, for example, and then we have resort for golfing, horse riding. I mean, like this kind of sport that we can actually increase, support more, you know, like if we want to increase the income, you know, or like promote Egypt. It's not gonna stop anyways. So I think me being there as an ambassador for Egypt, I think we might have like, hopefully, yes, you know, like a future cooperation with me and the Ministry of Tourism as well, like to promote that as, yeah, as a destination, you know, diving destination. Yeah.
Well, Janice Holder and of course the leader of the campaign Green Planet and the cleanup of the underwater, Mr. Ahmed Gabr, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you. And
Thank you.
it's time for us to wrap up this episode of Breakfast Show. I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much, Nashwara.
Thank you, my dear friend Rasha. Thank you all for joining us on this edition of The Breakfast Show. And remember to join us again tomorrow, same time, with our colleagues for more on The Breakfast Show. Till then, thank you for joining us. I'll stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.